Welcome to another client interview with my man, Adrian. Pleasure to have you here, bro. The kind of whole point of this video that you're going to be watching is because when Adrian started working with us, it was on a very kind of different level to how we work with a lot of our clients right now. And a few months ago, we kind of decided to kind of change how we worked with him and work with him more like we work with most of our clients in Enigma Collective. And since then, he has seen, a lot of growth. And yeah, we just want to talk about that as well. And yeah, what has it been now, like 6-7 months since you initially started working with us?
Yeah, since October the 13th, remember about.
Damn, October the 13th, that's crazy. Was it a Friday?
Tuesday.
Okay, I was going to say Friday the 13th, that would have been a bit funny. But so let's kind of look back 6 months ago, kind of where you were at with what you were doing, but also kind of your mindset towards things as well. I think that would be good to understand.
So I think the mindset aspect, I'm a bit, I don't know, I would say a bit more blessed because of the football aspect. That's already sort of there, so it's easier to do something if you want to do it, right? Rather than trying to hone in that mindset first and then doing work.
Yeah.
In terms of the work itself, I can't say it was bad. It was good. Like, we're still working remotely, which isn't bad. That's the goal, right? But it's more how to take advantage of every opportunity, utilizing the skills that you learn, and then transition into that to ultimately be on top of that certain niche, which we'll speak about later in the video.
Okay. And so when you say you were like already working remotely, just for context, like what were you doing? Because I remember you telling me you had like this kind of football kind of program. Is that what you're kind of referring to?
Yeah, so I started the football academy in 2022, but I started crypto like Web3 in 20 because that's where I work, right?
Mm-hmm.
For reference. In 2021, and then I did partnerships and then transition sales about August. So that's what I mean. I was remotely in that aspect and then had my own stuff. So there's always my own stuff, but it's how to get to a different stage in your own stuff, a better stage in your own stuff, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think, so we obviously worked on a very close basis, especially like with Dan, you were basically like this, just always on the phone, always texting each other on WhatsApp. Whenever you had a problem, you came to him. And I think that's a massive kind of part of your success is that, when you had a problem and when you had, something come up, you immediately came to us, like, as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
Like, without any fault. And genuinely, bro, like, I respect that a lot because that also means that you trust us a lot, which I think is insane.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like blind trust, which is, like I said, crazy. And kind of what I'd love to understand is since we worked in that kind of capacity before, we then decided to bring you into the community. And I wanted to understand like how big of an impact maybe did that have, or maybe it didn't have for you and you feel like in your growth to where, brought you where you are today.
I think the main thing now is you're always in sales. So when I mean always in sales, you're always speaking to people in the sort of same wavelength, even though you're different stages of where you are, but you're always in the same wavelength, right? And that basically means you're always progressing in some aspect, because you're always speaking about it. If you're always speaking about it, that means you're always in it, if that makes sense, right? So that's the main, I think, aspect in terms of that.
Mm-hmm. And so we obviously kind of are here in Spain, right? You, Jack, Brian, Alistair, Alex decided to kind of meet up. Where did that kind of idea come from?
It was from Jack originally, I think, because he was just coming over. I was like, why not, basically? Because we can in that aspect, right? But I do believe, I think traveling to places that are of value, when I say of value, is where I reference Dubai, for example, right? I like, in a sense, because I only deeped it like 2 days ago. Everyone's about it, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's about it. That's what I mean. Like everyone's about. I only deeped it 2 days ago when we came here, but like going to a place like that, it's everyone's about it. And I mean, this place is superbly nice for a week or two to meet up.
Yeah.
But then it's not as such to be based here because again, there's not many people about it. If that makes sense, right? It's great to meet up as a person though, because it's a nice place.
Yeah. No, for sure. I get you.
Pause 1 sec. Okay.
And so that's another thing that I completely kind of forgot to touch on. You know, like for sure, I think Dubai. There's certain places in the world like Dubai, London, Miami, where you go there and literally everyone's on it. And I think Dubai and Miami, in particular, more than London, because London's like too big. But you did go to Dubai. You went to Paris, all because of your work in the Web3 space with sales and all the other stuff you have going on. And you're also going to Lisbon in a couple weeks. How does that actually like feel? Like to look back like 8 months ago before you even started working with us and kind of seeing the progress you've made now.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy for me to see, but like for you, how does that kind of feel when you look back?
So it's a weird feeling because I think it feels normal to go there now because you worked so hard. So it feels like you should be there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. You probably had that feeling before, where it just feels like you should be there genuinely because you worked there, right? So I'd never really sat down and thought about it. Like I'm to be real, I've never sat down and thought about it. But if you think about it now, it is a bit crazy. Especially like you say, so we've been down 3 places. Then we're going to Lisbon, then we're going to Singapore, and everyone like that, which is quite nice, right? Can't say no. But again, I think not many people would go in a sense because it's like again, it's only like Dubai, for example. I went on my own basically for a couple of days first. Like that's a big thing. That's a big feat going. Like just genuinely is in a sense, right? So not many people would go, but it's just everything that comes to you, just taking it. I would say, and for me, events is the highest ROI I could do on top of obviously learning new stuff. But events are the highest ROI, so that's why I want to spend more and more and more on going places like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, from speaking with you about it the other day at dinner, your job is basically like networking like a man. Right. So obviously going to the events where all the big dogs are, especially in your space, like seeing people there, creating business connections, it can really help go a long way. So no, I completely understand that, and I think it's really awesome, genuinely. And so, out of curiosity, right, you now have got to a point where you can literally are consistently doing, you know, these 10K, 15K months. And I remember you did 7.5 grand in one day.
Yeah.
From one deal.
Yeah.
And so what I'd love to understand is like, in your opinion, with everything, the community, the kind of everything that comes with it, like what do you feel was the biggest factor of that allowed you to get there?
So I think it's always having someone to speak to. That's number one. Because sales is you're in a company, but you're really not. Mm-hmm. It's a very outside company job, right? It's a very individual job. So always having someone to speak to on that front, and always sharing knowledge and ideas back and forth. Because otherwise, it's like you don't really know if it's a good idea until you try. Whereas here, you have perspectives on stuff that happens, if that makes sense, right? And especially, like of course, what we work with. Yes, what I do now may not be 100. Like it is sales, but in a different aspect that people may not understand it, right? But ultimately, all the skills we learn is you always have someone to speak to and someone that has the knowledge to overcome the things that you're unsure of. Mm-hmm. They do.
No, that makes sense. And so, for context, can you give like maybe a little elevator pitch to people who maybe don't know what you do, about what you do?
Yeah. So, and I progressed. So it only happened literally like start of March, but I transitioned more into venture capital funding for Web3 startups and do sales in Web3 in terms of progressing the company that we're going to tell you after. But do a bit of closing for companies, but also more on the front end partnerships and client side, right? So it's like I said this to Brian and to you before. It's the highest ticket offers you can get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the second highest is real estate and exits for companies.
Yeah.
So it's really I would say the best offer I can possibly be on in this space, because I'm in tight circles of people that I never would be in touch with before.
Yeah.
Right? And people that if you DM they wouldn't care, but now because they're there, you're helping them. They're like, oh, you're a good guy. Do you know what I mean? And now you can always have something going for you and always have more opportunities. The world's weird because it's like when you're smaller, you don't get the excessive opportunities coming your way.
Yeah.
But then when you do more stuff, you provide more value, as it should be though, you get even more and more and more opportunities coming your way, which is a bit crazy because it all just adds on like this, right?
No, for sure. I think it all compounds, definitely. But it's like everything you've been doing, because it's very easy for some people to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm the reason for your success. And I think not at all. I think what we did is we just maybe helped you when you had those speed bumps. But
Yeah.
realistically, I feel like if we're being completely honest, you probably would have done it anyway. In my opinion, at
Yeah.
least, I think just because you work so hard and you were so at it, like with your personal brand on Twitter, with your content, with you just always wanting to move forward and being very quick and being genuinely very quick to take action on things. I think, genuinely, I'm excited to see where you go because you have made so much progress so quickly. And also to maybe touch on that a little bit, like what are the goals you have for yourself in the next, let's say, 6 months?
Yeah. So I think also before this, I was thinking about this when I was walking here. To get good results, you have to be that person to achieve them results. If that makes sense, you have to be worthy of them achieving results. Like, it's not a type of field where you can start, let's say, drop shipping or e-com real quick, have a quick 10k, 20k, and go away, right? You got to be the person to deserve these results. And at the end of the day, if you get 10k, if you know what to do with it, then you sort of deserve it. But like, if you don't really deserve it, right? You've got to be deserved. But for me, I think I've learned over the last few weeks when I speak to people, it's more about quarterly goals as well, because there's so much like better and easier to track. So I spoke to Brian, who was at the table the other day, and the main one for me is 50k this quarter. So we are on track, like I said, because we've done 12k last month. This month's, I'm not saying yet, but there's a lot of deals. Basically, with VC stuff, it really compounds. It's not like it closes in 1 month. It's like 2 month thing and then suddenly all closes. If that makes sense, right?
For sure.
So there's so much that closing. But yeah, 50k is in that, and then making sure the next 12, 18 months is you're locked. The main goal now is to be locked in all the time. Because like in Web3, it works in cycles. It's not like in normal space where it's like, all right, I'll keep on continuing doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a period where you've got to hammer it down, and then you can reap the rewards after with the deals, with everything that goes through, right? So number one, I'd say quarterly to 50k, but more importantly is to be locked in. Like it's a very vague term, but it's a very important one that people underjudge basically, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you're not like, a lot of people think they have a lot of time, and that's why every day they're like, oh yeah, I'll just move it a bit, like not a substantial amount to actually move it fully. As we said, right?
No, for sure. And I think it kind of adds to what you were saying. It's just like doing everything every day. You've said, like, you see the compounding results with everything you do. And that's also, I think, because of your mindset of always trying to move the needle as much as possible every single day. So, like I said, kudos to you, genuinely. And I would say to kind of end it off here, when you came to us, it was a very interesting kind of point because, a lot of people when they join and start working with us, it's like you're in the online space, you're maybe a bit skeptical or whatever it might be, which is completely normal. And it's like from the outside, it's that kind of thing, too good to be true. But I'd love to understand, like, for yourself, you were already in the space. So I feel like there was already that thing. And we had a lot of mutual connections. So there was already that. So it was, I guess, much simpler to work with us. But what I would love to understand, like, if you had any advice to someone who, was just starting out in the online space, like looking to get started, what would that advice be?
Yeah, I think a good one is to do well. You just have to stay long enough. That's the simplest thing I'll say, right?
Yeah, no, very true. I think, like you said, we spoke about this the other day at dinner. It literally is just consistency. Consistency, goddamn. That's all it is. There's so many people in this space, and there's so many people that can't hack a couple months without seeing results. I remember we did a weekly call with a bunch of students in the program, and you literally said, if you can't go 6 months without seeing results, this game's not for you.
Yeah, it's simple as that, right?
It is. And that's not to say, obviously, that you can't see results. Like, you're going to see no results in 6 months, but you have to be prepared for that. Just have that mindset, like, that you aren't going to see success, just because that will allow you to just work your ass off. So, no. Dude, it's a pleasure to kind of have you here. It was a pleasure to meet you for the first time the other day.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see kind of where you go from here. I know for a fact you'll definitely hit those quarterly goals. Just don't get complacent and keep at it. And yeah, dude, pleasure to have you here.
Always, mate.
And yeah, we'll just wrap it up there. So have a good one.